Okay. Uh, let's see if anyone joins. This is the retry. And I'm not on a fancy microphone. I'm truly just going straight from my webcam because the whatever the setup was with my microphone just was not working. So I'm trying to get, oh my gosh, I can tell you that I have really learned a lot of lessons. Uh, Goodness. If you can hear this, if you're watching this live, then definitely let me know. Wow. Okay. Well, I am figuring this out in real time. Boy, I am learning a lot. So, for anyone that attempted to join during the originally scheduled live stream, of course, as as life goes, I had technical difficulties. My big fancy Yeti microphone was not working. Don't know why. I don't have time to investigate it, but I think the audio is coming through okay, at least through the webcam. It's probably not great. It's probably not real quality, but I'm just gonna go with it. So let's get started. I mean, you're here for a reason. If you're watching this, whether it's in real time or if you are looking at the recording, you showed up to gain some information. And forgive me, I'm moving some things out of the way. Uh, and here we go. Wow. You talk about crashing and burning in front of people, but no problem. That's okay. I am beyond the age of being embarrassed by anything. I take everything as a lesson, as a learning experience. And if you're here, if you decided to stick with me, then good God, I am very appreciative of it. And if you are watching this in the recording, I'm still glad that you decided to spend some time with me. But I am going to deliver what I promised. I am going to give the information that I scheduled to serve with. And it is a concept that I share with midlife professionals that I call collect your receipts. And this is a concept that I've talked about on my podcast with private clients, in conversations with any midlife professionals that are really trying to figure out how to up level their career. And I tell you that I want to get into this. I see a couple of people that are jumping into the chat. If you can hear me okay, just give me a thumbs up and let me know. I know it's probably not the best quality, but just let me know if you can actually hear me. I'll pause for just a second. And I got two screens going. So if I'm looking here at the webcam and then looking at my second screen, you'll know why. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your patience and just appreciate you being here. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's talk about collecting your receipts. This is actually something that I'm very passionate about because when I talk to midlife clients that feel stuck in their career, they feel like they've been overlooked. First off, I want to say that it's very possible that that's true. It's very possible that whatever you are going through, whatever feelings that you have, I want to take a moment to validate it because it more than likely is happening that you are being overlooked for a career up level, that you are being passed over for whatever that opportunity is. And a lot of times it has to do with the fact that you don't understand how to showcase your value. You don't understand how to quantify the impact that you've been making for your organization. And that's why I came up with this concept called collect your receipts. And we're going to talk about where that terminology comes from because it's just a little cute way of me making you remember that you need to continue to collect evidence of what you're doing in your professional organization. So this particular presentation, Collect Your Receipts, this is learn how to capture your wins and to claim that promotion or raise. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And I have created a guide for you. And not only just this guide, but I have a bundle of guides that you are able to download either by scanning this QR code, or you can go directly to the link, which is bit.ly/career dash bundle. Either one of those ways that you want to access this landing page, please take a moment to do that right now, because this presentation is truly walking you through the guide of how to document your wins. So I'll give you just a second to go to that website or to scan the QR code so that you can access the free guide. And let me tell you that once you go to that particular page, you're not going to see just the collect the receipts guide, but you're going to actually see a whole bundle of all of my different career free guides. You're going to have information about how to set up your resume, how to document or showcase your achievements in a career portfolio. You're going to see a couple of different things there. And it depends on what you're looking for. It depends on where you are in your career or in your job search journey. But they're all there for you. So I don't know what you're going to need. I wanted to make sure that I bundled it, I packaged it so that you could get what is most important to you at whatever stage that you're at. But the one that we're talking about for this presentation is the one that is called Collect Your Receipts. So if you are able to access that, okay, give me a thumbs up in the chat, or some kind of acknowledgement that at least you're able to get to that. And if you can't, you can always just let me know, and I could definitely send you that via email. So I'll pause for just a second. I get a little bit overly anxious, making sure that everything is running smoothly. So I'll give you just a second. And let me put that in the chat just in case. It might be a little easier to access just from clicking this link. Okay. Taking my little swig of water. And I will say this is the absolute first time that I've ever done a live stream through YouTube. So it's okay that I'm messing up. I hope it's not a waste of your time, but my apologies for any technical issues. But I will tell you that I am very seasoned when it comes to delivering live webinars, delivering live presentations, but this is the first time that I've done it on this particular platform. So I personally will say that I am always living out my midlife transitions in real time. I always want to use myself as an example of doing the scary things, doing the new things, and being a beginner again. And I will tell you that I am beginning again right here. So let's get into it. I'm going to fumble my way through this presentation, but I do hope that you get a lot out of it. So let's define, what is it that I'm referring to when I say collect your receipts? What does this actually mean? Well, quite literally, this is defining what a receipt is. So a receipt is a proof of purchase. If you go into a store, if you go into Costco, into Target, into wherever, Amazon right now, and you pay your money for a good or a service, they're going to give you a receipt, which is proof of that transaction having taken place. And it's the same concept when we're applying that to your career achievements. This is the quote unquote proof of those career accomplishments. And when I say collect your receipts, that means you are collecting the evidence of what you've done, what you've accomplished in your career for your professional organization. And I will ask it of you. Oh, and I'm sorry, you can't can't access the bundle. I apologize. Let me try again before we leave here, but I will make sure that if I get your email address, or you can type it right here in the chat. If you give me your email address, and I can send that to you. But I will also put my email in the chat just in case you want to just message me real quick, and I can send that to you once we're done. So the other thing that I want you to put in the chat is answer this one question for me. I want you to tell me, what is one recent win that you're proud of? This is a professional win that you haven't documented yet. One recent win that you have not documented yet. Put that in the chat for me, and we're going to build on this idea as we go through this presentation. What might be one win that you're proud of that you have not documented yet? Think about that. Now, I will also give you another bit of what I hope is valuable to you, valuable information, is that if this whole concept of collecting your receipts is brand new to you and you need a little bit of background knowledge, I will tell you that I have a new episode of breaking this down about collecting your receipts on this YouTube channel that you can probably look at, that'll give you all the background of how I came to develop this. And I'll say to you that I was that person where I was in a job for 2 decades. And I finally got to the point where I felt like I was due some type of up level. I mean, I had climbed the ladder, I'd done all the things, checked all the boxes. And by the time I realized that I was not being paid for my value and was ready to apply for some type of uh, up level, some type of promotion. I definitely wanted more money. And I went to my supervisor to pretty much plead my case. And I didn't have anything prepared. It was pretty much just me talking about how I've been loyal to the organization for a very long time. And I will cut to the chase and tell you that being loyal to the organization just was not anything that anybody cared about. And I will say that to you, that being loyal to your organization does not mean that you are automatically owed some type of up level with your current status, whether it is a job title change or if it is some type of increase in your pay. Being loyal does not mean that you deserve anything more. Your people, your supervisor, your organization is going to care what you have done to further the goals and the mission of that organization. So that is what you need to remember. So when you are going to your supervisor, like I did, I pretty much went just saying of, talking about how good of a person I was and how loyal I had been for 20 something years. And that just wasn't enough. And I found myself just really embarrassed by how unprepared I was for that meeting. So I don't want that to happen to you. I want you to do this first step, which is very, very simple. And it is the first thing that you're going to do to set up your hub for collecting your receipts. And this is going to be with you just creating some type of cloud-based system, some type of cloud-based document that allows you to do a simple drag and drop or some type of quick note, whether it is on your laptop, whether it's on your desktop, or even on your phone through a voice message. A Google Doc, OneNote document, an Excel spreadsheet is going to work perfectly. And you can do it just on that one document and just keep it rolling, or you can also create sections within that document, which is what I actually recommend, that will keep you organized as time goes on. So I want you to make the labels for each of those sections to be: first, your tangible wins; second is going to be your metrics; and third is going to be your artifacts. And I'll explain what you're putting in each of those sections in just a minute. But the main thing that you want to remember for now is that it is going to be cloud-based, and you're making it accessible from all of your devices, especially accessible to by your phone. The second step in this is you're going to identify your key wins. And with your key wins, I want you to take a moment to brainstorm a little bit. And you're going to ask yourself, what project made you the proudest this year? And at the time that we are broadcasting this, it's end of May. So you basically had 2 quarters of the business cycle to do whatever, different projects, different activities for your organization. And I want you to think of, just within this past year, within this fiscal year, what project have you done that has made you the proudest? Or you can think of what problem it is that you solved that either saved money, saved time, or created some type of efficiency. And I just realized that I have a big old typo on this slide. Oh man, I am batting 1,000. But yes, I have a typo here, but just ignore that. Pretend that it is beautiful and everything is smooth. Uh, So these are the things that I want you to think about when you are asking yourself these questions. Think about the projects that you are the most proud of, or think of the biggest problems that you've solved for your organization. And within that, you're going to just, give one sentence, just one sentence argument, one sentence justification for whatever those things are. And that is going to go in your cloud-based document, or you could do some type of voice note, just so that you can archive that in the moment so you don't forget it. And I don't know if you're like me, I will forget what I ate for lunch that particular day. So to be able to remember from one week to the next week to the next month is a challenge sometimes. But if we are in the habit of recording things in the moment, then we're not going to lose sight of it by the end of the year, by the end of that fiscal cycle, when we need to justify what we've done or what we've contributed to our teams. It's a big deal. And this is not something, this is not bragging, this is showcasing, this is keeping accurate records of your contribution. Now, while you're capturing those details, this is way back to my days of studying journalism. You always want to document the who, what, when, and how, all of the big details. And if you can tell me who was involved in that particular achievement or with the project, exactly what the activity was, when did it happen, or when was the deliverable brought across the finish line, and how it overall contributed to the success or the success of the organization, or helping them reach their overall goals. This is going to be very important, because remember, it has nothing to do with you as a person. This is all about how you're helping the greater organization reach their overall goals. But it's not just going to be about you keeping the specific details. You also have to add the evidence of that. So things that are going to be tangible that you're able to present digitally is going to help plead your case. So that's going to be screenshots of things, evidence that can be digital, like emails from your supervisor, from your team members, maybe reports that are justifying different quantifiable metrics about what you've contributed, slide decks of presentations or trainings that you've presented, or just praise that you might have received, whether it's from teammates or it's from people that have been on the receiving end of whatever processes that you've developed. These are all details that matter when you are capturing evidence that will go into your central hub, justifying your contribution to the organization. And then once you do that, it's not all about you just saying it. It's not all about you just, giving the narrative of how you have contributed. We want to be able to quantify it. Any numbers that you are able to put together to show what the impact has been for the organization is always going to be a necessity for you justifying what you've done. So it can be revenue that you've helped generate. It could be cost savings for the organization. It can be efficiency gains. Maybe you've helped cut time in a particular process that everyone on the team is now using. It could also be participation rates with trainings that you have developed or trainings that you have delivered. And another thing that I love is customer satisfaction scores, things that are customer facing, where that customer is saying that they received quality support, or there's something that you were able to help them, a problem that you were able to help them solve. All of those are quantifiable metrics. And for me, I pretty much work in the learning and development phase, basically training people to do whatever big things or new things that the organization is trying to achieve. And so I like to make sure that I keep record of the number of people that have attended my trainings. So just like this example that you see here on the screen, the metric could be that a project was completed in a shorter amount of time than it had been in the past. So previously, this particular project, this fictional project, may take 10 days on average to complete. But with your contribution, with you leading the team or you being a part of the team, this particular project now only took 7 days to complete. So that means you had a 30% reduction of time, a 30% improvement of getting that project over the finish line. Another example, like I said, from my training, from my L&D space, I like to look at training attendance rates. I mean, because how many adults love to give up their time to sit through a training? Not very many. But if you are able to show that you were able to make some type of improvement over training attendance rates, that's going to be a major win for you as a professional. So if the previous attendance rates were 60%, which is actually kind of average, but because of your contribution, the attendance rates are now at 85%. That means that because of you, there is a 25-point increase in the training attendance. And yes, that may not sound like a big deal, but yeah, it is a big deal, because any organization is going to care that time and money is being spent towards the improvement of operations. So if you would like to contribute to this conversation, I want you to think of a before and after win that you've seen in your role, something that you may have done that maybe you didn't even consider to be some type of big improvement. But now thinking about this, quantifying your impact, what might be a before and after win that you've seen in your professional role? I'll pause for just a moment to give you a chance to add that to the chat. I'm taking my water too. increase community engagement and outreach. Now, I'm going to challenge you. If this is something that you know that you have contributed to your organization, start thinking about the different ways that you can quantify that. It's one thing to say that it was an improvement, but if you were on the opposite side of that conversation and someone asked you, okay, well, how much did you improve it? What was the impact? Start thinking about ways that you can quantify it and add some true numbers to whatever that achievement was. So it's something that I will always push people to continue to do. Now, once you are beyond just the quantifiable step of collecting your receipts, the next phase of this is to organize and categorize these achievements. And I want you to think of organizing them by role, by year, or even by the skill set. Then within that particular document, I'm thinking about your Google Doc, whether it's your OneNote document, or even if it is a voice note, I want you to start thinking about all the different ways that you can categorize this so that you stay organized by the time you are able to present this for a performance review or at whatever the end of your fiscal year is, when you basically are justifying your performance. And to star or bold or put an asterisk next to your 3 best wins for every single quarter. So of course we got 4 quarters per year, or even 4 quarters per fiscal year. And for you to think of what are your top 3 achievements for each quarter. And by the time you get to doing this, you've probably got a very healthy list of different achievements, different wins that you can present for a committee or for a supervisor when you are justifying why you need that raise or why you need that promotion. So the other thing that I want you to remember, and this is why collecting your receipts is so important, is because it doesn't just serve this one purpose. If you are somebody that's possibly job searching at the moment, if you are thinking about moving or shifting, transitioning in some way for your career, these are actually quantifiable metrics that you also need to make sure you're putting in your resume. And even if you're not job searching, let me also edit myself, because people only think about things when it's a moment when they have to do it. And I will say that updating your resume, making sure that you're showcasing the things that your wins for your career achievements. These are things that you need to be doing quarterly, no matter what. Losing your job, needing to be ready for an interview, being able to network and present and showcase who you are and what you're capable of. These are things that happen sometimes within a moment's notice. And I will say, for someone with experience, someone that has been laid off before, someone that has been in the job search market for an extended amount of time, I will say that you never know when there's going to be an opportunity to get in front of a decision maker that is going to be responsible for whatever that next opportunity is for you. And I need to be able to spit out very quickly who I am, who I serve, and what impact I make to an organization. And without doing this particular homework of collecting your receipts ahead of time, then you might be in a really opportune moment where you find yourself fumbling. You find yourself thinking of all the ways that you should be able to contribute, but you just don't have the language. You're not able to articulate it effectively. And that would be a lost opportunity for you. And I don't want to see you in that situation. So I always will push people. I will advocate for you to do these types of exercises where you collect your receipts on a regular basis, a regular rotation, whether it is going to be quarterly, weekly, whatever cadence that is feeling good for you, so that when the opportunity comes along, when you are in front of that decision maker, you're able to spit this stuff out very easily and you don't have to fumble and think about it at all. It just rolls right off your tongue. So this comes to my next point is setting a calendar reminder so that you remember to update these things with your documents very regularly. Now, me personally, I will say that I believe that you got to do it every single week. And I know when I'm talking to grown adults, having any one thing added to your calendar, anything that is added to your things to do list, it feels so monumental. But I will tell you that this is all beneficial. This is not anything that is just being done for the fun of it. It is all about pushing your career forward. So, my recommendation is that as you wind down for the week, and at the time that we're recording this, this is Thursday, I recommend that you do it in the late afternoon every single Friday, where you put a 15-minute, literally a 15-minute reminder that is on your calendar towards the end of the day every Friday each week, where you take a moment and you reflect on whatever achievements or whatever measurable things that you were able to have accomplished just within the most recent week. And for that reminder, again, it's happening every single week. And this is you're able to reflect on it. So it's fresh on your mind. It's something that is happening in the moment. So it's not you jogging your memory trying to think of, oh my God, what did I do? Or what is it that I forgot? Or things like that. You're not hunting around for all of these things later or way further into the future. It's probably something that you're very actively involved in right then. So if you do that, I would say set a calendar reminder. And I believe that it's probably a good idea for you to do that right now, to set a reminder for this Friday, 15 minutes that you spend just reflecting on your wins or your progress from the immediate recent week. That's it. And just stay consistent. And as you do that every single week, at the end of the week on Friday, to wrap up your work week, as you get to the end of the month, you set another reminder so that you can review everything from the previous 4 to 5 weeks. And then if you see how this kind of snowballs, by the end of the quarter, you should have at least 3 good wins, 3 measurable wins from the previous quarter that you are able to highlight and then have those ready by the time you do any type of performance review. Now, I remember for me, in my previous role, I had to do performance reviews quarterly, and it was nerve wracking. We had to not only do it in front of my director, but we had to do it in front of the entire team. And I know not every organization is like that, but basically, people could fact check you in real time. But it was something that I did not realize the value of it until it was time for me to justify that quarterly bonus. So it wasn't just performative. It wasn't just me doing it because it was cute. I was doing it because I was competing for the largest chunk of the team's quarterly bonus. And I will say, I will brag on myself is that I did achieve the highest bonus a few times. So it was very much worth all the homework that I put into it. So hopefully this is something that is beneficial for you as well. So let's talk about some frequently asked questions. And one thing that I always get is what counts as a receipt? So the things that count of a receipt is going to be anything that documents your contribution or impact that can be measured. So think about things that you can say increased or decreased by a percentage, or increased or decreased by certain points or dollar amounts, artifacts, presentations, reports, templates, anything that is going to be qualitative feedback. And when I did my dissertation, we had to distinguish between quantitative and qualitative metrics. And so anything that is coming from your customers, anything that's coming from your team, your supervisor, any comments that are sent to you, maybe even in a Slack channel, these are things that you're actually able to take a screenshot of and save as an artifact, and that can count as a receipt. Next, Another question is, how detailed do your entries need to be? So remember, I'm saying every Friday, set that reminder so that you can document some of your wins from the previous week. And I want you to start very simple with that. Think of just a quick headline, the date in which it happened, and one key outcome from that event. And you can flesh out the details later. You can revisit this during your monthly review or reflection sessions with yourself. But in the moment, I just want you to be able to capture the headline, the date, and one key metrics that came out of it. So if you're doing this just with your phone, and I've got my phone charging right here, just do a quick voice message where you are saving this and say, hey, this happened, this was the date, these were the people involved, and this is what the metric is that I'm measuring against. And that's it. Doesn't cost you any time, but it is going to save you in the long run. Another FAQ is, what if I don't have exact numbers? Very valid question, because yeah, like I said, I was in a situation where when I would do my performance reviews, I was doing it in front of the entire team and they could fact check me in the moment. So it was very important that I had my numbers straight. But I would say, while you are documenting this for yourself, just use your best estimates. You can go back and you can refine the numbers later. My goal for you is that you just don't forget that it happened. So put down some round figures for the moment, but then to go back and capture the story, capture the details later on when you have access to the precise reports or the records. My goal is that you just don't miss the opportunity to document it or to forget that it happened at all. And if you're like me and you're struggling through menopause, brain fog is a frequent co-pilot for me. So I have to put things down in the moment and it will jog my memory. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. This is what happened. And I can fill in all the necessary details later. Another question is, how often should I update my receipts log? And as I just talked about, I recommend that you do this at the end of every week. And at the bare minimum, stretching it would be to do it bi-weekly, but it should only take you 15 minutes at a time. Don't make it more labor intensive. Make it something quick that you're able to do in the moment. And you can always take a deeper dive at the end of the quarter. But in the moment, I just want you to document the top information, the top details, so that you can just build on it and continue to just be in the habit of documenting this for your own records. And then lastly, how do I use these receipts in my job search or in my performance review? So you've heard me allude to this, that this is going to be important when you're needing to justify what you've done in front of a supervisor or in front of a committee when you think you're deserving of something more. So I want you to be able to pull your most recent relevant receipts. And that's going to be about 3 to 5 that align with the goal of what you're targeting. So if I'm in a situation where, let's say, for instance, I'm just a coordinator, but I'm aspirational to receive a director's position, then I'm going to make sure that the examples that I'm pulling from my receipts log are going to align with that director type of perspective or that director type of skill set. And these are things that I'm not only keeping in my log, but I'm also using it to update my resume, because your resume should also read as a list of achievements, not a list of job duties, but a list of career achievements. And that gets you in the habit of really putting your best information forward, putting your justification, your validation for what you're worthy of, for what you're deserving of in your career with a measurable impact. And so this is what I'm going to challenge you to do. I want you to spend 15 minutes this weekend. And literally 15 minutes. Do not make it more than that, because I don't want it to be a big laborious thing that's on your to-do list. I want you to spend 15 solid minutes this weekend creating your central hub. So that means getting a Google Doc, a OneNote doc, an Excel document, whatever it is that feels good for you to access quickly in the moment. And I want you to spend 15 minutes logging your first 3 career wins. That is for this weekend. So put that on your calendar right now. If it's going to work well for you to do it Friday, tomorrow, if it's going to work well for you to do it Sunday afternoon, just make sure that you do not let this weekend pass without at least spending 15 minutes documenting your first 3 career wins. And I want you to think of this as your version of career insurance. This is where you are going to build up your confidence, where you are going to really understand the impact that you're making for the organization. And I say this very transparently that I had to go through a lot of hard lessons to understand this for my own career. A lot of times where I'll say naively would come into negotiations or conversations really thinking that everybody understood that I was just a good person. And I'll cut to the chase that no, that didn't work because they're doing their own thing. They're engaged in their own projects. Nobody is paying attention to what you're doing. Nobody was paying attention to what I was doing. I just assumed that there was some audience, some unspoken, quiet audience that was watching and waiting to reward me for all my good deeds. And that just was not the case. It was my responsibility to keep track of my career achievements. And I failed to do that for a very, very long time. And because of that, I'll say embarrassment. I mean, yeah, it was an embarrassment when I had this shining moment to be able to talk to my supervisor and say that I was worthy of this big raise that I thought I was due. And I wasn't laughed out of the room, but it was kind of like a bless your heart kind of moment. And needless to say, I didn't get the money that I was asking for. So I digress. But I don't want you to be in that same situation. It's very emotional. It's very much a letdown, and you're better than that. So by using this system, by understanding how you need to document all of your wins, all of your career achievements, hopefully it provides you that little bit of career insurance so that you're never in a moment where you have to wonder what your contribution was to an organization ever again. And again, I will tell you that if you have been with me this far, please make sure that this doesn't just dissipate into the ether. I really do want you to get into the practice of collecting your receipts. And everything that I've told you this evening with this live stream, it is documented in my free guide, which is at this QR code and also at this link. So it is bit.ly/career dash bundle. And at that website, at that landing page, you will not only see the collect your receipts guide, but you will see several other career guides. And I would love your feedback. If any of that is helpful, let me know how you were able to use it. If there maybe might be some other things that I missed, maybe there's some blind spots of some other places where you're struggling and you need a little bit of support, let me know about that. And I would gladly like to help you out because this is not just for fun. You didn't show up this evening or to watch the recording of this live stream because you just had a bunch of time to spare. I assume that there is a real problem that you're trying to solve. There is a real goal that you're trying to achieve, and I would be honored to help you through that. So even though we went through a lot of information today, I will tell you that I do have other ways to support you in your career up level. I have 2 courses that are available if you are needing that deeper level of support. One is my signature course, which is the Job Search Blueprint. It is tailor-made for midlife professionals, those that are over 40, over 50, that need a lot of step-by-step hand-holding to make a confident career pivot. So everything that we're talking about with collecting your receipts, that is one part of the greater job search blueprint. But there are other elements to that that I would love for you to have access to and really just get in the habit of understanding how detailed and how much the job search process has changed, possibly since the last time that you were out there in the job hunt. And then there's also another course that I have, which is using LinkedIn for job searching. That one is a lot of fun because I have so many people that assume that finding a job is 100% based on their merit and their skills. And there's a big element that is missing in that perception because you got to network. You got to know somebody in order to get your next opportunity. So if that is one piece that has been a blind spot for you and you don't know how to do the professional networking, I won't call it a game, but just the whole challenge of getting out there and getting in the space of knowing people and being in the room with decision makers and having people speak on your behalf. There is a fine art to that. And I teach about that in the course using LinkedIn for job searching. Because one thing that I tell people over and over again, that who you know is just as important as what you know when you are job searching. So if you'd like any additional information about either one of those courses, you can find it at this QR code, or please email me at info@upskillservices.site, and I will gladly answer any questions that you have. And that is all that I have for you with this live stream. I'll call it a failed but recovered live stream. So I realize that I probably lost a few people in the original live stream, but I will make sure that this recording is up on the YouTube channel, and I will also timestamp it so that if there's any specific pieces that you want to go directly to and save you a little bit of time, I am happy to do that. But more than anything, I am just super, super grateful that you spent any time looking at this information. My goal is to make sure that any midlifers that are on this job search or any career up level experience, that I'm able to guide you and make it just a little bit easier. That is my mission, and I stand by it. So if there's any part of it that you need greater support on, please let me know, and I will be there for you. But for now, hey, I guess we'll call it an evening. If you have any questions, hey, please put it in the chat. I'm going to keep monitoring this live chat, and even after the recording is put up on the YouTube channel. So please let me know if there's any questions that I can answer to support you on this journey. But in the meantime, hey, thank you very much. And I'm going to hang around here. If you do have any questions, I got a few people that are popping in and out, but I will stick around if you do want to chat a little bit.